Understand beliefs create the frameworks for your physics that you are experiencing. Beliefs are basically the limitations you put on God. When you have a belief about God, you limit God. So when you have certain beliefs, it means you want to have a certain framework of experience. And the idea is to experience limitation. So when you start abandoning limitation, you find a new appreciation for the divine. Because now you're experiencing it through the illusion of time by slowly rediscovering the divine and by being initiated into the divine. And through that slow initiation, there is an experience of appreciation of God. And when you go through incarnation, you always approach God from a different angle of experience. And that different angle, that individualization process, is what allows God to experience himself, herself, itself, whatever, through unique experiences that are infinitely varied, because there are infinite amount of beings in several universes. So that God then experiences itself through the return movement is the key. But in order for having the experience of a unique return movement, there needs to first be the illusion of individualization and, let's say, the experience of being a separate self. I hope that makes sense. When you start breaking that down, the separate self needs to die. And just think about it in terms of, imagine you would wear 10 suits at the same time. And you're dropping one suit, you're becoming lighter. You drop the next suit, you're becoming lighter. And your spiritual gravity becomes lighter and lighter. So you're dropping the accumulations that you have confused for yourself and have called it I. I hope that it makes sense. So every time you're being initiated, you need to let go of a suit in order to become lighter. But it will disturb your psychology. And then to accept the disturbance and see the disturbance as a positive process of fusion. Trying to bring different concepts into harmony, into balance. This is what it is about. And concepts always happen to you as an experience. So if you have certain concepts and beliefs, they're being mirrored by physics. Yeah, so you can understand those concepts. So being disturbed is not an issue, it's a part of the process. But to be disturbed by the disturbance, that is not sane. So watch the disturbance in a detached state and just watch the concepts, how they are in conflict. And then try to discern over longer periods of contemplation what to keep, what to let go of. Yeah? And this is the way of knowing yourself. This is a way of knowing God. Yeah. Because God is using the soul vehicle as a separate illusion. So imagine you're sending, let's say you are part of an alien species and you find a new planet. And now you're sending out probes. And all these probes go down to the planet and they come back with different data, different experiences, but they all tell a story about the planet. So when we bring all these experiences together, we have completion. You could think of it in this way, if a tree is branching out into different dimensions and realities, imagine that at some point time is being reversed and the tree grows back into itself and falls back into a seed, but with all the information that all the leaves gathered and experienced. Then you get a sense of what the divine plan is. Yeah? But you need to accept that the human is not real. If you believe the human to be real, you will be afraid of initiation. You will be afraid of experiencing 1,000 deaths. But as Yeshua said, I am the resurrection, I am the life. After death is always resurrection. So you need to die in order to be reborn. And this is the natural cycle of contemplation, fusion, death, rebirth. Contemplation, fusion, death, rebirth. Over and over again, in various forms in nature. And you experience this in a, let's say, in a microscopic way in your own psychology. But then again, everything that changes is not you, because everything that changes has time. We are using time as a self-reflection tool, but time is not who we are. Your body has time, your psychology has time, your mind has time. Who you are does not have time. It's beyond time. Yeah? So you're watching from a place that is beyond time, a process in time. And you're using the process in time to become aware of your timelessness, of your limitlessness. You're using the limitations in reverse, to reverse engineer that you are God. Right? So then we understand that the amnesia and the ignorance is a part of it. You need to forget that you're God in order to rediscover that you're God. And when you rediscover who you are, the uniqueness in which you have done it, that is the treasure. It's like when you go to an art gallery and you look at many different painters, and you can see through the paintings that different painters created that they had a very different perspective on what they perceived as reality. So not a single painter paints the same landscape in the same way. That means not a single human paints God in the same way. And because God has no face, God thoroughly enjoys the faces that the reincarnations attribute to God. So for something that is ultimate, personification is a form of enlightenment. And for something that is personified, to re-enter the ultimate state is a form of enlightenment. God seeks enlightenment, humans seek enlightenment. God seeks enlightenment through the human seeks enlightenment through God. So by fusing the individual with the ultimate is the marriage, so to speak, between the limitation and the limitless truth. I remember Gerald Clark used to say the human is where the finite meets the infinite. That is correct. So if you again think about this downward pyramid, where the top of the pyramid would actually be in your head and the foundation would reach up, then you would understand that God reaches into man and man reaches up into God. And the meeting point is where the rising ape is based. This is paraphrased from Terry Pratchett, where the rising ape meets the falling angel. So ultimately, everything dies in the process of fusion. Because God expands, then God retreats into itself, into the singularity, and then it expands again. And what is that? In-breath and out-breath. Out-breath is expansion, in-breath is collection. So in that way, you use the human as an out-breath experience. And when you breathe in, you accumulate energy.